my swords that's now been out for about 2.5 months, I guess. We are going to get a non-sword weapon from our uncle that allows us to complete the escape. And as we do get off here, looks like it's not going to be sword, as I don't believe Uncle had the sword on him there. And 20 rupees in the first chest. Not an awful thing to see at the start, but you're really looking for some. It's really always nice to see a heart early on, as well as, of course, some of our new weapons.
Yeah, you really want to see like hammer appear soon. Fire rod would be really nice. Hammer is one of the few items that's absolutely 100% required every race. Let's see what Uncle gives us, and it is the Cane of Burna, one of the most optional items in the game.
Yeah.
Creates a sort of a force field around you that pushes enemies up. Does some damage, but it does use magic, so the racers will have to sort of conserve that, because there are some enemies that do have to be killed in this.
Neither racer opting to kill either of the guards there to try for an early bomb drop yet. Of course, there is a room at the end of the escape sequence that requires bombs to open, or the boots. Of course, it's very difficult to find the boots early on unless it just happens to be there. But so bombs is the go-to option. And so both of our runners will be hoping to find a bomb somewhere throughout this escape sequence.
Yeah, they'll probably want to try to just conserve that magic for the time being. They don't want to run out of it before they have to kill an enemy that opens the door or kill an enemy that drops a key. You'll probably see a lot more farming on the way back.
Yeah. Because often when you have those free weapons, so of course we saw RaikouRider in that left hallway decide to pick up, Raikou with an extra activation of Burna there. That's going to hurt his magic a little bit. But as we mentioned, of course, getting that early heart, so that makes things a little safer, although with the Cane of Burna, you've already got a safety item built in, but it also consumes a lot of magic, as we've already mentioned.
Yeah, so they got 2 blue guards they have to kill, 1 green guard, and 1 rat. There are there are pots down here at the bottom where you can kill the ball and chain guard with, and RaikouRider taking some hits there.
Not just the hits, another double activation of the. So for those who don't know, the Cane of Burna has a much larger cost on activation, a much lower cost to keep going. So the effect of these extra activations, I believe, is a full 1/8 of a magic bar, so basically the same as a fire rod shot. But the cost to keep it activated is very, very low, actually. So most likely we're going to have to see. I don't expect we're going to see a save and quit. I imagine we'll just see the magic pots being picked up in the sewers. Not unless he wants to farm the ropes in the sewers as well.
Well, they won't have to do that now because they're getting bombs in Zelda's cell there.
Yep, so yeah, that's not going to be needed. We know that the small key is going to be in that Dark Sewers chest. Of course, the other nice thing about standard mode is that they do give us this free light cone through the swamp part of or through the sewers part of the escape sequence, so that we can actually get through there without having to know those dark rooms, or having to give us the lamp super early in the logic.
See, those bombs are going to come in really handy for Raikou, just because even if he does run out of mana, he can at least try to kill that rat with the bomb and still have 1 left over.
Yeah, he could decide to do that. That one's a trickier call to make, because your cost there is pretty high, because you're not guaranteed to get another bomb, but you are guaranteed to get more magic if you just save and quit.
Well, he has 3 now, so
yeah,
there is at least that. Basically, he's got enough for an activation, and he's got to be right on that rat as soon as he activates it. Otherwise, he'll have to use a bomb.
I imagine we'll see a magic pot or 2 picked up. One of them is basically on the way in the first place, so there's very little cost to getting that 1/8 magic pot refill. The other thing, of course, this having those bombs, you don't want to have to use them, so that you can do Blind's Hut and the Hyrule well without having to go all the way down through Kakariko to buy bombs and come all the way back up.
Yeah, bombs are very, very nice to have very early on. You sort of run out of uses for them later on. There's a couple of times they are kind of mandatory to get through some places.
but
at
most
that
of those
point,
places have
yeah.
bombs right there. The one notable exception being the top of Ganon's Tower. Make sure you have a bomb when you go up Ganon's Tower, everyone. It's usually not too hard to make sure, though.
And that second key that you need to go up. I've seen a lot of racers not have that key on their way up, and it's cost them races.
That was my first win.
You see DarkReplica getting the key there, and then Raikou is probably going to pick it up here in just a second.
Yep.
We'll see what's in the back of this.
Get that magic. So he sees the rat, got the rat. No more magic, but you don't need any more magic, really.
Bottle and flute in the back of Escape, so yeah, that's big.
That's basically finishing Kakariko the first time we go there. Assuming we get a few more rupees on our way through, which is almost guaranteed.
I mean, there are 30 in the bottom of Blind's Hut, so
well, there's 50 between the well and Blind's Hut, but you want enough to get those bombs if you don't happen to get bomb pickups as well. But between bombs or rupees and chests, they should be fine. And we have a sword, so bombs are even less valuable now.
Yeah, you really don't want to go through this early part of the game with your only source of damage being bombs and Cane of Burna. It looked like we had all 3 crystals in the overworld. Looks like we got a red crystal down at Desert. So
That's
in
correct.
Randomizer, crystals 5 and 6, which are normally at Ice Palace and Mire, those are coded as red. Those are what are required to get access to the big bomb that lets you into the Pyramid Fairy. So having that at Desert, and if the other ones that say like Skullwoods or Thieves Town, stuff that doesn't really necessarily require a ton of items to finish, that Pyramid Fairy may become really handy out to have early on.
And unfortunately, neither a tree pole nor a bushcraft having much of value here. And the Uncle Bombs on the Aghanim drop. So we're not going to see a Lumberjack Cave this seed. I wouldn't expect. There we have a quiver. We have a 5 quiver capacity upgrade. Neither one are going to pick that up. You already have 30 arrow capacity at the start. That's more than enough for just about anything you need in the game. The exception being Vitreous can take a lot of arrows, but we're not playing to do Vidi with arrows if we can help it.
Yeah, picking up 1 or 2 bomb upgrades is usually pretty nice. You're not going to complain about 1 or 2 of them unless you really need something else, but arrow upgrades are just really not really necessary throughout the game.
Yeah. And the bomb upgrades have to be early, and now that we have a sword, it's even less useful to have a bomb upgrade, because that's one of the biggest things is that you want them for things like Mini Moldorm Cave. Things like that. I find DarkReplica's routing here interesting. I'm not sure whether he Ooh, flippers! Flippers! Speaking of bomb capacity upgrades. And we got a lift! Got a glove! Ten arrows. That's not going to go very far, but it's something.
Yeah, with 2 bombs, I generally play the odds and hope that there'll be another bomb drop in either the well or in Blind's Hut, maybe the bottle vendor. But Replica went head down into Tavern and didn't buy bombs.
Yeah, and as I said, I'm not quite sure exactly what the routing decision was there. Maybe it was just literally he forgot he had bombs, or who knows. It's hard to say and not too much of really a concern. Maybe a small time loss in the range of 10 to 15 seconds, maybe? I'm not even sure.
And 3 big 20s right there in those 3 chests in the well. Just
Yep.
one after another. Yeah,
Cyberchild, we have both gloves now. and flippers for both runners. I don't think we have. Oh, and we have bottles. We have 2 bottles for each runner. We have a flute for each runner. You already have the sword. I think that was everything. We'll figure it out.
And we've got Titan's mitts already.
Yeah. So, interestingly, if we find Mirror before Moon Pearl, that means that the Moon Pearl could be in Checkerboard Cave. If I said Mirror, I meant Moon Pearl. They both start with M. I don't know which one I said.
They both start with M, and they're both found up in the Death Mountain area. I mix up their vanilla locations all the time. And there's our Master Sword. Speaking of M items. Next, we just need Medora, Magic Cape, and Fire Rod.
The Fire Rod is a personal favorite. That being said, a fire source in either the Mirror or the Medora does give us access to Desert. Full clear access to Desert, of course, as well. You don't even need the fire for Desert access, but you do need it for Lanmola's access.
We may need boots, though.
May need boots as well, of course.
And these racers are going to want to find boots sooner than later. This being a race and all, they want to go as fast as possible.
Yeah, 50 rupees in the library. We won't come back for that. No YOLOing the race game from RaikouRider. It was just a heart piece. Went straight to Agnes Cave. There's our ether medallion. And that's all he decided that's all he cares about. He's not even gonna go to Agnes Cave. Either an interesting choice, or it was just he moved too far in the first place when he flew and just decided he was gonna do that before he left. I'm not sure. Hard to say. But what does Agnes Cave have for us? ₹20. Agnes Cave always feels like this place has nothing. Too often feels like there's nothing in Agnes Cave, and then you have that once in a while that it's just has the item that you do need. I'm probably just getting anecdotally the wrong times, but I do believe that the math set or the stats say Ice Rod Cave is better than Agnes Cave at the moment, at least. Not going to see any bomb strats on the mini Moldorms. I like bomb strats on the left side, even when I have a sword. Just take out a bomb, chuck it over there while I go deal with the right side. If you get lucky, you kill both mini Moldorms without even having to really invest anything except for a single bomb into them. Lots of rupees, a little bit of some love. Moon Pearl, that's Dark World access, and 20 more rupees. RaikouRider's like, yep, that's it.
Yeah, they pretty much have nearly full access to Dark World at the moment. With flippers, they can loop down through Lake Hylia, or Lake Hylia, and skip the pegs in the way.
Well, down to Lake Hylia, or north, of course, across the river. Both ways work. But then Raikou deciding that he actually wants to go to Ice Rod Cave before he goes and does other things.
Yeah, Ice Rod Cave's not too bad when you have the flute.
Yeah.
I'll generally work that in if I have the flute. If not, I will wait till much later, usually.
He just didn't want to say... He's saving quid a little bit too fast, because he could have just walked out the door and fluted, but... Of course, that's very small in the grand scheme of things. And nice blue mail. Nice time to pick that up right before you want to go to Dark World.
Yeah, Dark World with 6 hearts and green mail is actually really scary, especially if you head over to like Thieves Town or Skull Woods. Those little hoppy dudes can do a lot of damage really fast.
Yeah, I decided to do pot on 5 hearts and blue mail without a lamp. That was fun.
Oh, that's rough.
I actually got the Helmasaur, then I died, and I was sad.
I'm gonna go see what Hobo has up here on DarkReplica side.
Yep. And so pendants down the left side, green one in Skull Woods, blue and red in Thieves Town and Mire, and then our 6 crystal on Ice Palace.
So we will need flippers, which we already got. We will need mirror. We will need ice rod, which is gross. That is required to kill Trinex, the boss of Turtle Rock.
The only item that we didn't need to find to complete these dungeons, we've already found, which is the flute.
Yeah, that ice rod. It can be literally anywhere in the game except on Trinex and in Ganon's Tower, which you'll never go into Ganon's Tower without having killed all your crystals anyways.
Well, of course, or otherwise locked behind Trinex, if Trinex happens to specifically have progression. In those few rare cases.
Yeah,
doesn't happen very often because we're talking about like the mirror, like you'd have to have like the mirror or the hook shot on Trinex, and then another progression item behind the mirror or the hook shot.
Yeah, but this ice rod could be basically anywhere. This could turn into just a scavenger hunt for the ice rod later on in this seed, and I've seen that happen way too many times.
Can, or it could not. We could just get the ice rod in the next test we check. I've seen that enough times as well. The real question is, when do we get Cane of Samaria? Because Cane of Samaria is this big one that sort of like will sort of prompt that dip into Turtle Rock as soon as you can. Of course, you also need the hammer. You need access to Turtle Rock in general, but Samaria gives you access to then at least try it. So we shall see. Also, I don't know how Squirtle getting sunglasses and becoming cooler makes him unable to sword and everything. Funny.
I really like this dungeon design for Thieves Town. It feels much less like an actual dungeon and more like this is an actual hideout. You got multiple floors, you got what looks like just to be living areas, just a hallway. I really like this dungeon design a lot.
Didn't want to pick up that skull yet, Raikou, but that's okay. I'll leave that heart for the way back, especially on, well, I guess we're on 7 hearts now. We're starting to get to that point where we're decently safe. With blue mail and 7 hearts, a lot of runners actually start to get to that point where they can just start running through most of these not last 3 dungeons.
Yeah, this conveyor belt hallway still can be a little dangerous at times, though.
Yep. Well, and that's at least for me. I can say that one of my biggest problems is when I start getting overconfident because of what I've got. Like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I can start doing this, and then I realize I'm at 1 heart with no potions or anything left. DarkReplica is going to dip out of Thieves Town after first 4, so we'll see what kind of decision that is. Although he forgot he had a fairy. With bombs being one of the items that's still locked behind here, doesn't seem to be awful. Oh, maybe that reinvigorated him to just go ahead and do the rest.
Yeah, they're really not going to want to see anything in that big key chest or the big chest. Leaving that behind is just gnaws at you for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Although it does Oh yeah, we're not going to see that weird logic here, because that key's not going to be in there. So we're not going to see that weird logic where the attic chest and blind are technically key lock. Not going to see that today because we already have that key. And I'm not sure if there's 1 or 2 items left. I know we've got one in the front. I know we got the bombs. I wasn't sure what else we got already. But I know we have at least 1 left.
Raiko almost leaving that suspicious girl behind. He's got to save her, really.
Yeah. I mean suspicious. She's a maiden. Not at all suspicious.
She likes puns a lot.
She does. Once you discover that she's actually not a maiden anyways.
You're going to be seeing our first crystal boss fight here with Blind, or no, Pendant boss fight with Blind.
Boss fight, yep. That's why Dark was deciding. So I'll be interested to see if Dark does. Well, I don't think Dark will come back in. Again, if that actually is a problem here. Decent chance it's not, but we'll see what Blind has. Yeah, Blind has more bombs. So I believe that was all the items, but I'm not... Am I sure? Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if we got 2 items in the front or if we actually found the map and the compass. Because I know we found the compass. I don't know if we found the map.
I think map was at the start, so...
You think map was at the start? So yeah, 1 item in the big chest then.
Like, don't quote me on that, but I think that's right. We're going to go see the digging game down here. Digs are randomized 1 through 30. It'll be the same for both racers, but they could dig up their item on the first dig. It could be nearly 30 seconds later.
There it is.
But they do it on the second, at least. Just a 20, but DarkReplica picks it up anyways. He will need probably about another 200 gold, really, to access basically everything in the game.
Yeah. Something in that range. You're at that point where you're not really worried about it, except for, like, Zora's still the biggest problem always. Once you start getting to, like, 600, you're like, okay, we're good to go. I don't even need to think about rupees anymore. So Dark not taking the frog for a walk. It's interesting, because I wonder what he's planning to do with his next play, because taking the frog does make sense at this point. So we don't have the mirror yet, you sort of want to get at least the frog part out of the way sort of as soon as possible, and at least most runners, that's their decision. But it does give him more freedom, so if he does find, let's say, the bow, he can go to Eastern Palace with Pod without having to go turn in the... Well, I guess he probably wouldn't go do Pod yet, but he can go to Eastern Palace.
Oh, and there's the hammer and Hype Cave. Already makes this a Hype Cave. Bug Net, Magic Cape, Piece of Heart, and 50 rupees.
Not too bad. Not too shabby, Hype Cave.
That gives them access to the
cave of safety hammers. Cave of safety hammers.
They'll have access to Bumper Cave with that. They'll have access to Pegboard or Hammer Board. So that works out well for Raiko. Once he takes that frog back, he can just... Well, no, he doesn't have the mirror, so...
No, but it does give him... But it could give him a reason to just immediately go and do Purple Chest, though.
That is true.
Because it doesn't... With Titan's Mitts, switching back to Dark World and going for the Purple Chest does not take too long of a period of time. Meanwhile, we see Ether, I believe. Was that Ether? On Meyer?
So.
All right, so that's going to be... that's always interesting, too.
An Ice Rod in the shed.
Smith not having anything of real note there, just a piece of heart.
It's a real good find for DarkReplica. With Meyer being a pendant, Raikou may not make his way down that way. It is a couple easy items, but there's a lot of other items elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like
Dark's
4
gonna
of
make
them.
his play to Zora area now that he has over 500 rupees.
He's got 2 items here in the waterfall, one on Zora and one on the Zora ledge. This could be a really good play. And it is!
Does he keep going? He does for now, which is not surprising. It could have been a time. It could have been a time where you just go, nah, I'm just gonna go to Eastern Palace. I'm just gonna go get those 3 items and finish up a crystal dungeon.
And there are the boots!
But there's the boots. I'll be happy he didn't do that.
Oh, Zora's Domain just has everything you could want today.
We'll see how true that is once we talk to the scam artist himself. What do you have to say, scam artist?
Okay, I mean, it's alright.
It's a bottle. It's a little bit of a scam, but, you know, we got something at least.
I mean, that could prevent a death later on. They gotta go to Ice Palace. They may run out of magic fighting Cold Stare.
Yep. And since we have a flute, any bottle is somewhat useful, because it's a, what, 30-second time investment to go get a bunch of potions.
Yeah, and with that net, too, they can catch a fairy if they have to.
You gonna find anything good here? Oh, accidentally drops the chest. Click that A button accidentally.
I think that chest is coated in oil every now and then.
Yeah. Here comes that Eastern play I was mentioning before, which is, as I said, really not that surprising when you can full clear Eastern Palace, plus you still have Sahasrah's hut to do as well. You may as well come do this play.
Raikou's going up there without the bow.
Yeah, without the bow. Does have the hammer, so we'll see if he makes a pod play as well. Will be an interesting further part to this. Which runner, if not both, make a pod play after this?
Raikou's going to get the cash for Zora out of the back of here. Let's see if he makes his way up there.
We can hope that he makes that play. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could be just enough of a persuasion to have him change his play. But I expect that we're just going to see the Eastern Palace play here, and it'll be double dip. Nope. We are going to see. Is he going to 8? Yes, he is. What a play!
It's very fortuitous for Raikou there.
Has to make the hobo play as well. DarkReplica already having made that the hobo play earlier.
His angle there made me think, like, is he going to Ice Palace for some reason there?
Yeah, I was thinking that for a moment. I'm like, nah, he's just going to check the thing.
Like, you can literally get one room in. Like,
you can
getting the
call
big
that
key
one
early.
room in. You can enter the dungeon. Big key early is always nice to see, because it means you still have that chance to just get all the chests without having to. Well, to get all the chests, really, that's what you need. You need a big key before the big key chest, and then skip through it all. So let's be hoping to see items, and more items. Which he got silvers. Arbos Knights, I don't know what you're doing with the silver arrows in your dungeon. That's not a very smart thing to do. If you're gonna have them, you may as well at least put them on you as the reward for killing you. But you know, whatever you want, Arbos Knights.
I mean, this game did come from that era where, like, final bosses and big bosses kept all their secret weaknesses near them.
True. Thought Dark might have missed the manipulation there for a moment, but everything was fine.
Getting a compass there in that middle chest, so he will have to gamble whether or not to go over into the dark rooms or not.
Well, depending on what this is. There we go. We're doing the dark room. It would be a straight up gamble at that point. You could still make the gamble that it's not an item you need, but then it's just strictly leaving an item behind.
Yeah, and this does take a little bit of time, and it's just far enough into the dungeon where you might as well do it now.
Yeah.
If it was something like left side of swamp, you may decide, hey, skip it and then go back because it's not super far to get back into it.
Well, and Swamp's a special situation because of the fact that Swamp, you're sort of gambling on where the big key is in the first place as well. Because the big key is in like the waterfall room or on Argus. You want to do Argus first and then come back and do the big chest with the left side. But if the big key's on the left side, then you want to do left side first unless you're in go mode. Oh, this can be tricky. Okay, got there. Good job, Dark. Got his 50 rupees for doing the dark room. So unfortunately, not quite the level of reward he was probably looking for.
And Raiko's making his way down into the.
I think he didn't go to 5. I think he meant to go to 5 and just didn't go far enough. He just under selected.
The DarkReplica picking up a fairy before heading into this dark room. That's handy to have. This is honestly a little bit of a difficult dark room if you haven't done it too many times before.
Yeah, the biggest trick, of course, is shoot an arrow into him, just like that. Then move closer to him. And kill him. And then be sad when the other Igor starts bodying you while you're trying to pick up a pot. There we go, he got the pot up, he used the key, and he is up the stairs, I imagine? Yes.
Yeah, those Igors do a decent amount of damage for as early as you normally find them in the game.
It's not even so much about their damage as it is the fact they do seek you, so... If they get all locked onto you and they just manage to bonk you around enough, then picking up that pot can be a bit of a pain. Oh, didn't quite get turned there. You have to reactivate that Igor. Not going to be a huge problem there. Took a full magic refill. Probably didn't really need a full magic refill because he'll get one from the boss, but that's okay. I'm sure I would have probably done the same thing just by virtue of it's like, oh look, full magic refill, let's grab that.
Yeah, this is the first game that I ever really took racing seriously in, and it is so hard to break that habit of, oh, I need to pick up everything an enemy drops. And you lose a lot of time that way.
Yeah, and even getting to that point of, I need to pick up these items in these situations, but not in these situations. Interesting, RaikouRider not worrying about how to deal with the invisible Stalfos, just going straight to the middle, triggering them, and then just killing them all.
He didn't really lose too much time doing that either.
I'm not sure he lost any time doing that. That was really fast. And of course, with the hammer and bow in hand, we don't need a lamp. We're going to Palace of Darkness. So, what items are we still really looking for here? We're looking for Samaria, looking for Fire Rod, definitely a fire source in general as important, and then of course Mirror and Hookshot. Mirror and Hookshot are two big gatekeeper items at the moment, blocking off the entirety of Death Mountain until we find at least one of them.
Yeah, they can access the item under Tabernacle Rock, but that's about it.
Yeah, and they can sequence break to the old man. And given that, well, we haven't seen too much of difficult dark rooms yet, but I would expect that these runners are probably comfortable to some degree with most of the dark rooms in the game. DarkReplica, I almost definitely say that about, given that he, of course, went straight to Pod instead of going to check other locations.
I mean, he's got dark in his name.
Yep.
Pod was not bow locked, so there's at least that.
Not bow locked yet. Always an important distinguishment to make. There is various levels of bow lock to Pod. And we're not gonna really find out. Oh no, I think he realized that he had a key. Or something. RaikouRider doing the dark room. Has his key. We're not gonna be able to tell if he gets his pot. Because he already has full magic. looks like we probably got it. That looks good. Looks far enough left. Yep, there we go. Used his key and he threw the staircase. What are we doing, Dark?
Oh, he needed a bomb.
Ah, that's a problem, yeah. Good awareness, then, to know that there's those bombs there, of course.
Yeah, a lot of times people really generally only remember, like, which spots have keys under them. Knowing where bombs are in a dungeon, where arrows are in a dungeon, especially like in a dungeon like Gaines Tower.
Yeah.
That really does come in handy.
But now, as of this point, we can say that basically Pod is not Bolok, pretty much straight up. We have found 3 small keys out of the first 4 locations, which is the requirement to have the back be accessible without the bow. That being said, of course, we're still because we don't have the big key yet, we're going to go ahead and do this now. Also because we don't have the mirror, so there's really not a good reason to not do it after jumping down the pit anyways. Dashing through this room is hard. If you don't get it right off the bat, that room is real hard to dash through.
There's your first item in Pod, just a shield upgrade.
Then another small key, which is not surprising. It sort of required that we had another small key before we go to the back, or else we could have keylocked ourselves by going to Helmasaur first. That's not going to work. That might be good. There. Oh, we missed it. Might do this the normal way now. Yeah, just going to do this sort of the expected way. That's an interesting little visual glitch there. I think. That's a problem, Raikou. Oh, that's what happened. He put the bomb down, so it switched to the ice rod. Okay, it wasn't a visual glitch. It was just a numbers thing.
He's gonna walk his way around.
And that's about all. That's about all he could. Well, he could have done the bonk still as well, but not a real noticeable difference. Not too much of a difference either way. Of course. Oh, right. There's bombs there. Forgot about those bombs. Now he's got lots of bombs. There's our big key. And of course, so if we have 2 keys after finishing this dark area down here, that means that the Harmless Hellway has a small key in it, so we don't need to go there. If we have 3 keys, then we need to go to the Harmless Hellway, because it will have something that's not a small key. So since we do have all the small keys for the dungeon now, we do have to go into the Harmless Hellway to find out what's there.
Yeah, that's one thing I need to learn is like key logic in Pod. It's just too many diagrams for me to learn it yet. Oh, and there's the fire rod. That's real nice to get.
Listen, fortunately, the key logic for the back is actually really easy. If you've done all of the front, you need to, if you have 2 small keys already, then you have all the. Then your 2 keys that you have remaining are going to go to the boss door and this door. Raikou deciding to not do the bow-locked side first here. Or maybe he is going to go to the bow-locked side first. Okay, we are going to go to the bow-locked side first. I think he realized where he actually wanted to go. Or remembered that he didn't have the big key, as mentioned earlier. It wouldn't have hurt him in this case because the big key is in the back, but always something you don't want to get to the big chest and realize that you need it.
There's a red mail for DarkReplica.
Yeah, I see that red. I caught that red mail in the corner of my eye. Not quite where you want to be here, Dark, I don't think. Not sure exactly where you are. There we go. You're on the bottom row now. There, we're good. And we don't get to see what that item is yet. I think, yeah, he got the chest. Didn't think I saw anything on that menu screen.
It could have been the shovel as well.
There's a mushroom. That's interesting.
Hmm.
RaikouRider getting that nice little bonk that we were talking, that Dark wasn't quite able to get there. You just want to leave the room, Raikou. This is going to be much slower than just leaving the room. Like, believe me, I've done this. You just want to leave the room. Or that works too. Here's our King's Tomb check.
Yeah, we haven't checked bonk rocks either. And there's the
Powder.
powder.
If that really was the shovel, like this, that would just be a silly 30 seconds of time. Also, interesting that DarkReplica didn't decide to do the dark room, given that he has the fire rod now.
Yeah, and especially with Pod being the crystal.
Yeah. Because Pod's one of the longer dungeons to get back to out of all the dungeons around. The back of Skullwoods takes a little bit, takes a while. Most people don't typically have to revisit the back of Skullwoods very often. And then, of course, Turtle Rock and sometimes Tower of Hera, depending on if you have the mirror or not, take a while to get to.
So it wasn't the shovel. Otherwise, we would have had the X and Y icon on the flute.
Right.
Now, was that all 6 items in Pod though? Is that my replica saving put it out?
Possibly. I personally wouldn't do that, but that being said, that this all comes down to your comfortability with the dark rooms. So
yeah, that turtle dark room is rough. But with the fire rod, you can just shoot one of those lamps and be able to see.
yeah.
But we're going to go to Skull Woods. Green pendant. Technically 2 items here, but that green pendant can raise it up to 3 depending on what Sahasrara has.
Yeah. Picks up his mushroom. Then goes ahead and starts to set up the Death Warp, which is going to take a little while. Because red mail. But I believe it's still going to be well faster than otherwise waiting. Of course, 2 bombs for every half heart. 4 bombs for a full heart. Just takes a while, but we'll see if Raikou does decide to do the dark room here. Looks like he is going to do so. Meanwhile, I totally missed what was our first items in the...
We got Big Key, and I didn't check the first item, but there's the book.
Interesting. Very interesting. RaikouRider, of course, forgot, as Chad is mentioning here, he forgot to do the harmless hallway. He's going straight back for it, so that's not going to be... That's not, at least not going to turn into any kind of decider here.
Astro Nerd in Twitch chat called that out. Book in Skull Woods. I think that might be both items out of Skullwood. So Replica is on his way out.
Oh, right. What's going on here, Raikou? There that was interesting.
That mid bonk item change.
Well, the jumping back over the ledge. He got stuck on some sort of ledge that, like, So he was normally you just sort of jump over and you walk back on, but in that case he sort of got stuck against a wall, then finally jumped over said wall he was stuck against. Probably some sort of pixel perfect portion of the bonk there, where that middle where that arrow is probably changes how everything works. Something like that. I don't know.
RaikouRider takes a short break here as we wait for the walls to open up, and he is heading down into the dark rooms pod. This first one's relatively easy. This next one, you only got one turtle to worry about, but then you have the turtle factory, where you gotta make sure you're hammering and getting the right turtles.
Yep. Or as the way that I'm often doing it is guessing and hoping you get lucky. Well, until you fire rod. Then you actually just, do the room. I would have been hammering those singles, but, it's all going to get the job done, and that's the important thing in a dark room, is just get the job done.
We are on our way to Helmasaur. Oh, and DarkReplica calls the creepers on himself.
Yep.
Calls the guards, sorry.
Doesn't really matter in that case, except for the time loss of the text box itself.
But we're going to take a look and see what we're getting cursed with today.
Yep. Oh, missed the first silver arrow. Try again. There we go. And got a red shield for all of the trouble. So not of specific note, but of course it does mean that he doesn't have to come back to pod to get this crystal later.
Yeah, the back half of pod has some good items back there. Getting the mushroom didn't lead to much, but it is something nice to have. Getting fire rod, however, that was big.
And now we'll see what this book gives us, aside from our ether medallion, which of course gives us access to Meyer as well. Raikou deciding he doesn't want to do Ice Palace yet.
I mean, who does?
This makes more. I think it might be more accurate of saying I want safeties before I do. He wants safeties before he does Ice Palace. And the mushroom turn-in just happens to coincide with that. Almost forgetting that he's coming here partially to get potions. Well, there's a single grain rupee in desert. And the big key.
So we are 50 minutes in, and we are still looking for hookshot, lamp, red cane, mirror, and we know ether is on the desert ledge, but Turtle Rock may be Bombos or Quake. We don't know yet, so we could require one of those medallions.
So yeah, so there's both items in desert. We can just skip everything. We can skip the big key chest. Also, of course, worth noting that boots not required, at least in terms of desert. Powder give us anything good? I don't think it did, but I can't remember what powder had for us.
It was 20 rupes.
Okay, so yeah, so Boots not doing a lot for us so far, except for just letting us go fast, which is always the best part about Boots in the first place. Gotta go fast in a speed run.
And there's the lamp in Ice Palace.
Interesting. Not as huge of a find as it would be otherwise, given that we already have the fire rod. We'll see what. It'll be interesting to see what Dark's plays are once he finds the lamp there. Similarly, how long it takes him to go there to get the lamp. It does, of course, also put the old man on Death Mountain into sequence, as we were able to do him before. It'll be really interesting if Spectacle Rock does have a Spectacle Rock or the old man have either the mirror or the hook shot.
Yeah, neither of the racers have even. Looks like they've even thought about going up to Spectacle Rock or Death Mountain in general.
Yeah, and doing the old man check fairly early is often a good play when you've got an early flute, especially without mirror, because you are going to be saving and quitting a lot, and the old man is just the fastest way to both save and quit in general, as well as the fastest way to get a full heal. So you see many runners decide to do that fairly early just for the sake of having a good save and quit point to do. Looks too low, but hey, look at that, he's fine.
Picture perfect though.
Probably was a pixel lower than I'm used to the setup. I set up right against the top wall, so my setup looks different than a lot of people's.
If any of you are watching this and you think you want to get into this, that is a very good trick to learn. If you do not have Red Cane, if you want to clear Ice Palace as fast as possible, that jump will cut your time down by, God, minutes.
And in some cases may even be required. If you don't have the Case of Maria and Coldstair's logic says that you do have it, it could save you more than minutes if Coldstair has something good on him. Or even if Ice Palace has something good and you just don't want to have to double dip it, which is often the case as well. That being said, I've actually done the vanilla strat in a race recently because I used all the magic pots and I had no way to get more magic. So I actually had to do the vanilla strat to go all the way back around. It was an interesting time. Meanwhile, that anti-fairy not being very nice to Raikou there. And here's Dark making that Death Mountain play that we've been talking about.
Let's see what's here in Tabernacle Rock.
Nothing nothing on top of Spectacle Rock, Red Boomerang in it. So we're not going to be picking that up. And Spike Cave play, or did we miss him picking up the mirror? Spike Cave play. Spike Cave not the funnest place to be without a hook shot. Oh, Raikou took a fall there. Gonna have to go for the other bomb jump. Oh, right, he has to go all the way back through everything again. That's always a bit of a pain.
Yeah, that's gross. You never want to do that, but it looks like he's just going to go ahead and kill Coldstair.
Can't blame him. I haven't been counting his items that he's gotten in here, but it very well could be not a lot slower to actually just go back to the start of the dungeon again, use your small key to get in there after beating Coldstair. Of course, we only have one heart, but that's not a huge deal. We're going to dump all of our magic in here, then we'll just use a blue potion to fill up everything. Yeah, Lamp unfortunately does not damage Coldstair's shell, fun as that would be.
This is just a gross fight in general. I don't like Coldstair. Coldstair's the boss that always gives me the most trouble, and doing it with Master Sword is just not fun.
Master Sword's fine. It's Fighter Sword that's the problem. Nice double hit on that left puff. Should be just about done here. I had a few more than I thought, but no problems there.
On the other screen, we have a DarkReplica opening up Meyer and heading in.
Yep. Kept his sword beam, so gets to do this room a little bit faster.
That's crystal number 4 for Raikou.
Yeah, once we combine these players' plays, we do have access to Pyramid Fairy as well. So yeah, Raikou forgoing the right side Ice Palace chest for now. And of course, his chat's calling out. Cold Stare sort of having doing one of those things where he has the item that you sort of want to see for the boss fight, when bosses are actually intelligent about what they should be doing. Well, Dark's gonna have to be a little bit careful here. Only on 3 hearts for through this. It's typically okay. There's a lot of you can do a lot of safe plays through Meyer, but it's also very easy to suddenly end up in a situation where you're taking a whole bunch of hits.
Yeah, he has powder, and there's a lot of anti-fairies in Meyer, so there's also that option. There's a couple bunny beams as well that you can powder as well.
Yeah, powder's a very good safety for the last couple dungeons of the game, actually. Of course, Raikou coming in here. Did he do the front already? Does he have the book already, or did he come straight to here?
He came straight to here. He's doing the back half first,
okay.
which is the play when you have Fire Rod. If the items have to be back here, then you want to check the front.
It's all a gamble when it's a pendant, anyways. Because although it is green pendant, as mentioned before, so. I find the gamble a little bit interesting, given that half of the item locations are in this first part right here, but it's not going to be a huge problem. And really, he will save some time by virtue of the fact that he, because he got a small key from that part, he's going to be able to check the 2 chests on the left very quickly here.
And Replica is going to be checking out the vanilla big key location here, getting a little bit of a break there, and we fall down the pit and we find a map.
And so we found all the small keys in Skullwoods. And Raikou's done for now. Fortunately, of course, not having a... We found the book, but we don't have a mirror, so we don't have an easy way to check the pedestal. Meyer being very difficult as well on Replica's side. There's a bombos. So the lamp was 100% fire rod locked in the seed then. Because the bombos was also locked behind the fire rod, or I think.
No, it wasn't.
Because we needed a book. We didn't need to kill Moles, we just needed the book. Right, okay, never mind, yes. Logic is a little bit... I'm like, weird. But yeah, no, we didn't need fire to get Ether Medallion, we just needed the book. And access to Meyer.
Replica is now over in Ice while Raikou's over in Desert. Basically swapping places from where they were about 7 minutes ago. Maybe Replica will show us what are in those other chests in my Ice Palace.
Yeah, we'll definitely see that. We'll also see if Raikou decides to go into Mire at all just yet. As Mire, at least as of yet, does not have anything of specific value. It very well could, depending on what Bombos if Bombos is required. But otherwise, at this moment, it did not have. There's just a lot of checks that were just use time. Whereas, as I mentioned before, Desert Palace unlocks the Pyramid Fairy for RaikouRider, as of course Ice Palace unlocks the Pyramid Fairy for DarkReplica. So,
yeah, I don't think either of them have checked Pyramid yet, and neither of them have checked Catfish either. So that might be a routing choice after they finish these respective dungeons.
Yep. Oh, missed the bomb throw. That probably not going to work either. Yeah, it didn't work either. There we go.
As much as I hate Ice Palace, there's a lot of stuff I really like in Ice Palace. This room has a really cool skip you can do, where you can kill both of the Stalfos with one attack. It looks really cool when you do it.
It's not very difficult. I'm surprised that we didn't see it from either runner, actually. I'm so used to seeing it from everyone who does it, unless they just make a mistake during it.
Yeah, the bomb jump is actually a little bit more difficult if you're learning the setup. Surprised to see him doing that and not the Stalfos double kill. That Stalfos double kill is one of my favorite things in the game.
Oh, DarkReplica takes that hit. Gonna have to redo the bomb jump, unfortunately. You don't need to kill that Raikou. But, you know, if you're going to, get all power to you. Nice bomb strats there. And nice silver arrow strats for Raikou, the 0 cycle. Or 1 cycle, as I really do call it most of the time. It's not really a 0 cycle on Lanmo.
Yeah, that's one of the cool design decisions I really like in Link to the Past, is that all your light world bosses are just much bigger versions of regular enemies you fought in Zelda 1. You have the Armos Knights, you have Flamolas, and you have Moldworm. So you're like, oh, that's cool. And then when you get to Dark World, you see all these new and amazing versions of eyeballs that you've never seen before as bosses. It's really neat.
Well, time for some bomb jumps, everyone. Close. Yeah, didn't look far enough down.
Oh, will he be able to survive this if he misses?
Nope. And he doesn't have a fairy anymore, I don't think. Oh, he does have a fairy. Okay. Must have caught it at some point. I don't think we got another fairy bottle.
He caught one in Eastern before he went into that rock room.
Oh, he moved back. I think he had it, then he moved away. Do it. You can do it, Dark. That being said, I'm the guy who also does this without any actual knowledge of what the setup looks like. I just sort of eyeball it and just do it.
I think that's the one that really doesn't have any sort of like easy go-to setup. It's just place it around here and then move over just a little bit.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Raikou, of course, picks up his Ice Rod just to put him that much closer. Does not do Mire. So we'll see how much that decision helps or hurts in the future here, as we see if Bombos is needed for Turtle Rock.
It's a 1 in 3 chance. There's still that single item in Basement of Thieves Town as well that's just mocking us.
Interesting that Raikou's deciding... if Raikou's doing what I think he is, which is going up Death Mountain... Oh no, he's trying to go for Bonk Rocks, and he just went to screen too far. I was a little confused there. I'm like, I felt like he was going for Bonk Rocks. There we go. Into the Bonk Rocks.
We will shortly see what is on the big key in.
As long as he doesn't jump down the hole, he's going to remember to bomb the floor. That's good. Because without the hook shot, I'm sure there's more runners that would care to admit that have totally meant to go do the big chest, jumped down the hole, and gone, whoops. I don't have a hook shot.
My favorite is trying to mirror glitch a block in a dungeon.
There's that one too. That's always a good one. We didn't do iced tea room yet. Okay, off to the iced tea room.
That should be the last item. I think Cold Stare had a sword upgrade, and we saw the 50 rupees and where the big chest normally is, or big key normally is.
Yeah. And here comes the Pyramid Fairy play, as well as, of course, definitely the pyramid itself. And go get the bomb. Go get the bomb, Raikou. Fortunately, the bomb only costs 100 because Raikou's cutting it a little bit close after buying those 2 blue potions earlier. Speaking of potions, Dark's going to have to make a good use of his Actually, he won't. I don't think he has any extra magic for this Cold Stare fight, except for what he'll pick up. I think he has a green potion, and that's it at the moment. So he'll have something like 3 fire rod shots to use on Cold Stare.
Then getting to Cold Stare and not having enough mana is another one of those things that a lot more people will have done it than care to admit it.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure they would care to. Oh, and there goes that bit of magic. So he only has the 2 fire rod shots he's going to get from the two magic pots here, because he'll basically. And that's only if he uses his fire rod before he uses the green potion. Otherwise, it's going to be purely a Master Sword or hammer fight.
Pyramid Fairy only had 150 rupees.
Well, that's not quite what we wanted to see, but did he
not get a chance? Ledge? I don't think he checked Pyramid Ledge. I didn't check it. I didn't see him check it.
Bombos, of course. Yes, he has Bombos, so he's going to have a full magic refill if he wants to use it.
Okay, he checked the ledge.
Think. Yeah, okay. I figured he would do it while the bomb was exploding. I just was interested in the magic situation. Oh, he does have a blue potion. Okay, so we're fine. We're fine in this Cold Stare fight. It's basically a foregone conclusion at this point, unless a tragedy happens.
We're going noodling over here with Raikou. Let's see what he's got for us. And just a big piece of heart.
And Cold Stare's down on Dark side. So where are our big plays to? We can't even get into Swamp. Can't get up Death Mountain at all.
Easttown big chest, man. That's where I think it is.
Big chest, yep. There's not a lot else left. Like our runners have checked the bumper cave, right?
They did. I think it was the 20 roops.
Okay. Skull with green pendant, right? There. That's another one. We're into very extensive one-item checks, basically.
Yeah, both of those are time sinks that they just really don't want to have to do.
Yeah. And of course, DarkReplica still has to do Helmasaur as well.
Yeah, man, I hope that's not what comes back to bite him.
And on the other side, Raikou has to do right side of Ice Palace.
I mean, one of those is mandatory, one of them's not.
Yeah.
Still, gross.
And then, of course, Raikou has not done Mire yet, but we still don't know how important the Mire dip is at the moment. And we can't find out until we find either the mirror or the hook shot. Raikou, you might want to turn that off sooner than later. Oh well, he's out of magic. He's got blue potions, it'll be fine. And a green potion still, I believe. Okay, so there was an arrow upgrade, okay. And so, which one are we doing first, Raikou? He's going to check Pedestal, that's what we're doing right now.
You still need that red cane to do Pedestal. I mean, the only thing that is really could be on there would be hook shot or mirror.
But if mirror's there, you're not going to get... You don't have a great time to ever go check it, because the time that you go check it is on Skull Woods. So...
Yeah.
Though it's a time sink, it's not the worst time sink that you could have. Because both those items that you mentioned, of course, are fairly important at the moment. But it's nothing.
It's just 10 arrows.
Not even Couch Cash. Worse than Couch Cash.
At least that Couch Cash you can put towards a blue potion.
And now we're getting a magic.
Raikou.
And Replica's going back to do Pod, I would imagine. I would assume a saving quit would be slightly faster, but it's largely irrelevant. Saving quit and fly to 5 probably would be the fastest way to get to Pod, but it's going to be a small time difference either way.
Yeah, I just don't know where else, aside from that green pendant and aside from that Thieves Town big chest, where else could they go? I think those are the only 2 locations.
I'm pretty sure that's just about it, yeah. Can't even really sequence break anything else. Raikou's going to do the Mire play, which I can't blame him for, because it's, it makes more sense than going to one of those 2 locations that we were sort of mentioning there.
Yeah, there's 2 items there. Oh man, it's just gross.
So I definitely give DarkReplica the current edge on sort of where we are through the seed. Because once he finishes Helmasaur, he's going to be most likely he'll be going to do one of those 2 locations we've mentioned. Whereas Raikou is very likely to actually go to Ice Palace before he comes back in here, although I think he knows there's only 1 item left in Ice Palace. I think there was 1 item left. There was 1 item on the right side, right?
Yeah, it was 50 roops.
Yeah. So it's hard to even say there then, because it's still only a 1 item play. So we've got a whole bunch of 1 item plays for we've got 1 more 1 item play for Raikou to make after this. As well as the 2 that we already mentioned. And then Dark, of course, has 2. So Dark has 2, Raikou has 3 1 item plays to make after they're finished their current play.
So Raikou doesn't necessarily know what's on Pedestal yet. I think it would make more sense for him to go to Skull Woods and take out Mothula. That way, he gets the green pendant. It is a pendant. Yeah, it's just, yeah, not a lot of plays that you really want to ever have to choose from.
As Chat was saying, Thieves Town Big Chest was not a required double dip in this seed. You definitely could have gotten the hammer beforehand. But of course, the seed really doesn't care if it's a required double dip or not. It just cares that once it gets to placing the item it's placed, that you can get to that item. Raikou gave himself a nice health refill there. On we go. I imagine we're just gonna see some slashes here. Yeah, some players still like to switch to the silver arrows for the finish off Helmasaur when they've got tempered. I like just giving him the 4 slash, or even better, the spin and 2 slashes. Gets his red shield, gets his crystal. Raikou gets Bombos. And give me this still in here, because I didn't count the items in Mire either time. Vitreous must have the last item.
Dark just to give it another check to see where pendants and crystals are. That might affect his choice here.
If I remember correctly, this is a small key in the big chest. Yes. Oh, did he not? He didn't do vanilla big key location yet, but that's still just a map, so that's neither here nor there. And Dark, which play are you making? I would imagine we're going to see the Mothula play first, but we shall see. Oh, there was the second item. Okay, so we're done. So okay. It was that side. So we got both items out of Mire. So nothing left in Mire. So here comes the Ice Pulse play, probably from Raikou. Hard to say. He's fluting. He could be going anywhere. Yeah, okay, we're going for one of these plays here.
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
Was there still another? There was still another item in Skullwoods as well, I take it?
No, I think they got both items in Skullwoods.
What was there other than book? So this is another small key. I know we got the big key. I don't know what was in the big chest, actually, though. But that's both the small keys. I know that much. Both runners are going to be at the exact same moment here, pretty much, at the same time. Like, we are within a screen, basically. Raikou not electing to pick up that extra small key so that he doesn't have to kill the Gibdo. Also has to use his blue potion, unfortunately. I don't like this play, DarkReplica, because I imagine, well, I guess if this item is the mirror or the hook shot, it's great, but I would still be killing Mothula before I ever went for this downstairs item. Especially without the mirror.
Oh, Dark didn't do the entire back half of Thieves Town.
Oh, that's right. Well, he opened the skylight. But then he died again. Like, he did the first death warp, then he had a fairy, so he kept going, but then he died in the grasshopper room after opening the skylight. So checking the big chest for him won't be as much of a time loss as it will be for Raikou, because he's going to get 2 more. He's going to get now the bombs on blind aren't going to go very far, but it's better than nothing. but does mean that he has to do the blind fight to get that item, which he may not have to do depending on what items are where through the rest of this.
Oh, Raikou got grabbed as he was heading into the boss pit.
Yeah, you want to make sure that hand's coming down before you jump into the boss pit, because he will grab you out of the boss pit. The little annoying quirks that this game has is the fact that your hitbox remains while you're falling down a pit.
Well-designed game.
Well-designed game.
Well,
just
well
like the fact
coded.
that, just like the fact that that the spikes do gold sword damage, the same damage code as gold sword does. So to make Moth immune to the spikes, they also unintentionally made him immune to gold sword damage, or butter sword, of course, as we all like to call it here. So of course, for the randomizer, they made a patch to that so that the gold sword just does tempered sword damage.
Yes, the coding isn't great. The design actually is non-ironically great.
Yeah.
The coding.
This could be a problem. Well, taking a hit from you want to take a hit from Moth and not the spikes right now. If you're gonna take a hit, take it from the Moth himself. The Moth will only do half a heart. That was why you take it from the Moth.
The spikes will do a full heart no matter what hell you're wearing. And when you only have one heart.
Woo!
I think Dark is just going to route in Thieves Town there with it as well.
Yep. Raikou is saving and quitting. Does that mean immediate green pendant? Probably.
So which one of these made the right call? Or was there something else we just forgot?
Well, and once again, Dark's play makes more sense for Dark because of the fact that Dark is going to get, I believe, just 2 items from this entire play, whereas Raikou's play is just a 1-item check that takes a long time, whereas this takes almost no time at all.
Oh, and there's the hook shot.
There's the hook shot. Now, that doesn't mean that Dark's play is wrong, because we don't know what's in that big chest.
It could be the cane, and each of them think that they made the right call.
Well, to be fair, the red cane doesn't even do anything for you right now, so that would actually be a benefit to DarkReplica, because he won't go somewhere else, but he'll have 1 more progression item. Because he can't go anywhere, like, he could go kill Vitreous, so unless he... Was it Dark that checked the pedestal?
Yeah, Dark check pad.
Okay. So yeah, so Dark's not going to go back to Meyer and do Vitreous, so Dark would actually love to see the cane here, because he'll go, oh, well, that's done, and now I'll go turn in my green pendant and get hook shot and be on my way.
There's half magic and the shovel in the bottom half of Paradox Cave. Or is this the top half? Who knows? This half has a couple red rupees, a red cane.
There's that red cane.
Oh, just go ahead and do Turtle Rock.
Pretty much. The only reason you wouldn't do Turtle Rock is because you find the mirror and then you go ahead and leave Turtle Rock for, well, you actually leave Turtle Rock for second last at that point. Because we are almost at, well, we are very likely to get a seed where we do not have to do Tower of Hera until very last. Once again, it depends entirely on where the mirror is.
Yeah, if you find mirror in like Super Bunny Cave or Hookshot Cave.
Although I say that, I think Raikou's going to make the play to Tower of Hera now, which I can't blame him for. It takes a little bit more time if you don't find that mirror in Dark Death Mountain to come all the way back here.
You can check Ether Tablet as well over here.
Yeah, and that for sure. Not even going to check Ether Tablet first, going straight for the dungeon. That being said, not a huge difference between doing Turtle Rock last and doing Tower of Hera last, so that's not really gonna matter too much. Just gonna forgo that heart. 11 hearts red mail is plenty of safety for many experienced runners.
Raikou gonna take a little break down here in the tower room.
Yep. We'll see how much of a break he takes. He may actually intentionally take damage to set up a death warp. You know, it's what I would do. But if he actually wants a break, he might very well go take one real quick. And yeah, so not setting up any part towards the death warp here, so we'll have to walk his way out of here. As we know that this chest is going to be the big key, so it's not like we're gonna get the mirror in this chest. Whoops. A little bit too fast on the trigger there, Raikou. Denied himself from talking to Sahasrahla by putting a bomb on top of Sahasrahla, then had to save Sahasrahla's life to then get his hook shot. You enjoy that, do you?
Well, I guess, there's a lot of things in this game just to make me get big size when they happen.
And get through here.
There's the other item in Hera, so Raikou's just gonna head on up.
Yeah, not like it would have taken him too long, given that he does have the hookshot and the boots, but it's nice that he just doesn't even have to worry about it in the first place. Meanwhile, of course, DarkReplica making his path here. We'll see if Replica decides to make the same play, or whether DarkReplica decides to do a Dark Mountain play first. Will be interesting to see, as I mentioned, because this really is now the search for the mirror. And of course, the mirror can be anywhere except for Swamp Palace, so, well, and all the other mirror locations. So really, there's not that many locations left the mirror can be. Basically, it has to be on Death Mountain somewhere. See, the thing is that even if Turtle Rock opened with Quake, there's not too many interesting places Quake could be. We've already seen everything off of Death Mountain. Like, aside...
Raikou, go back, check that tablet.
Silly Raikou.
Oh man, I just whenever I see a little thing like that, like in my head, I'm just like, oh god, I hope this is not the thing that messes them up.
Yeah.
Replica is going to be making the same play. Let's see if they're going to go ahead and check that tablet.
We'll see if Mirror's here. We may see a significant change of routing, just be by virtue of go do Swamp, then come do these dungeons last. But it's just some more health.
I think Sanctuary Heart. Yeah.
Good old Sankheart hiding in an ether tablet.
I'm always disappointed when I find a big heart and I have full health. I will never know.
Exactly. Can we get the hookshot clip? Nope. No hookshot clip for Raikou today.
It's a little tough one to pull off, too. It requires a really good timing and a really good placement on it. It saves about 3 or 4 seconds, so not a ton of time, but it is one of those that feels really good when you pull it off.
we setting up a death warp? He looks like we are.
Nothing in Super Bunny Cave. We'll check Hookshot Cave here in a second.
Yep. First, we're going to see what our medallion is. The medallion is Ether. So Mire plane not required. And then Hookshot Cave. Do you have Go Mode for us?
No, but it's got a butter sword.
Heart container. Another heart container. And some bombs. Why are you saving and quitting?
He doesn't have the mirror.
Oh, right, yeah, he can't get into Turtle Rock. Silly guy. That's right, so you actually wanted to go into Turtle Rock from the top. But he got the shovel, so he's gonna go check the shovel spot first. Or he's not gonna go check the shovel spot first.
Oh, no.
He's gonna go buy potions. Or a potion. I'm not sure exactly how many potions he's gonna buy with 306 rupees. And now we're gonna go back to Death Mountain. Yep, back to Death Mountain. Yeah, probably should have checked the shovel spot after that save and quit, but it probably won't matter. But we will find out in the near future. If it does matter, if he's cognizant of the back doors to Turtle Rock, he can fully clear Turtle Rock, and then oh wait, what am I talking about? He can just do Turtle Rock. Never mind me.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is completely clearable now, except for Mimic Cave, which is technically not part of Turtle Rock, but...
Yeah. And you don't care what's in Mimic Cave at this point, because nothing you can get out of Mimic Cave would be worth your time.
I mean, they have both invincibility items. They've got Dust, they got Bug Net, they've got 4 bottles, they got Red Mail, and Butter Sword. They don't really have anything else they could possibly want. Yeah, like the best item you could get out of there would be the 3rd shield upgrade. I mean, maybe even Blue Boomerang, just because it's a little bit easier to pull off some of the quick skips with that.
Yeah, that would be it. But neither of those would be worth going back to Mimic Cave once you find the mirror, or even going to Mimic Cave at all if you find the mirror beforehand. But here we go into Turtle Rock. So as mentioned, we know that the mirror is either here or in the shovel spot, like it pretty much has to be.
Yeah, 5 items here in Turtle Rock. There's a lot of chests in Turtle Rock.
The one nice part about Mirror Go Mode is at least we don't have to go search all the mirror locations after we find the mirror for the last item. Which is often what happens when you have a really light mirror instead of a Go Mode mirror.
Yeah, like, no Graveyard Ledge, no K45. Feels good.
DarkReplica trying to skip for us. That's going to be too far right. Yeah.
Oh, good hookshot dodges from Raikou.
I think he took a hit on that first one, but it worked out just fine. And then he gets a refill from the piece of heart.
Man, where is this mirror?
First half of my tournament is coming back in this race. Although this isn't Pendant Turtle Rock, which made it all the worse in my early races, but hey.
Oh, and there it is in the chain shop room. That is good for Raikou.
Yep. Yeah, so running where I would have had a slight advantage against these runners if I'd been running the sea, because I would have done Tower of Hera after Turtle Rock, but that's always a judgment call either way. You don't want to skip that small key, Raikou. Don't skip it. Don't skip the small key. Okay, good. We're good. Everything's fine. I don't even know if we have the big key. I think we got it, but I don't even know.
I think it was 2 small keys and a big key in those first 3 chests, which is kind of what you want. Look at that cool Squirtle.
Yeah. I said I'm not quite sure why cool Squirtle isn't more powerful than regular Squirtle, but you know, I guess cool Squirtles don't swing swords or something. Well, and as we go outside, need to check the big chest for... We need 1 more small key. Yeah. Check the chest. Okay, we don't have it. We do have to do vanilla big key location. That's fine. Just don't go back out the door. Just. Okay, fine. Or go back out the door. See, what he could have done was grab the big key. He could have just gone up and left from there, and then mirrored back to the big chest afterwards. Granted, this isn't a lot different than that in the first place, but would have been a little bit faster. Of course, giving DarkReplica a little bit more time to catch up, because at this point it is going to be a largely execution-based race. Raikou, of course, being about half a dungeon ahead at this point. But lots could go wrong. Ganon Tower routing being one of the biggest ones here, as well as just small execution is still enough to potentially make this up, depending on what happens throughout the rest of this. And just the compass in the big chest. So big chest was not required this seed, but that's okay. You have to check every location.
We're on our way to... Yeah, you don't want to get key locked out of anything and have to go all the way back. We're on our way down here to the roller room. Going to go see the next boss fight here in a second, and then we are on our way to Swamp right after that.
Yep.
And that swamp is just going to show us how fast a go mode swamp can be. It can be only a few minutes for that dungeon.
Yeah. I don't expect to be seeing any fast kill Argus strats with these runners, but that would make you have all the tools you need to do that quick kill at this point. Getting a pit stop here to fill up our magic. I imagine that... Uh-oh. Don't get lost. Okay, that works. It's an interesting little ride that Raikou took us on there.
And we're an hour and 40 in. Both these racers are probably looking for their opponent to finish here soon. But they're only maybe 3 minutes apart from each other.
Something like that. After that little mistake of not doing the, not getting the big key, puts DarkReplica much more back in the race. He wasn't really out of the race at that point, but it was definitely hurting a lot more than right now, where he's, like you said, probably about 3 minutes behind, which could come down to any number of factors. Hopefully not coming down to whether you take a small key up Ganon's tower. Never like to see races decided by that one. We're not going to see a 0 cycle here, but we will see a very fast 1 cycle, of course. Just getting that switch in as the sword slash goes out. 1 head poke. Then we set up for everyone's favorite little quick kill on Trinex, or at least hoping for it. Got the 2 hits, 1 more, there we are.
And that is 1 dungeon left for RaikouRider. He's going to head down to Swamp and then make that Death Mountain climb one more time.
Yep. So this crystal rises into the air at, we'll just call it 1 hour 41, basically. 1 hour 41 on his health refill. We'll see exactly how far behind DarkReplica is by the time we get back here again. DarkReplica will also be using, looks like, the Cane of Burnham most likely for the laser bridge. The main reason for getting that magic refill is exactly that. Of course, Raikou on his way to Swamp. See if Raikou manages to not enter Swamp before he switches to Light World. He's got the mirror out already, so there's a pretty good chance, but it doesn't stop me from walking into the dungeon half the time anyways. Gets the key, gets out of the way of the laser beams, and off goes the Cane of Burna. And
Makes his way through the Crystal Maze. And we're going to go see Trinex here on DarkReplica's side.
Yep. Once again, I don't expect to see the 0 cycle strat here. We shall see.
Raikou dashing right into that that spike block, but he is on his way down here. Going to do go mode swamp. No, he's going to check.
Okay. So we stopped the ice floor. Although, to be fair, I don't think the ice floor would have mattered a lot, but always good to stop that ice floor. Don't miss the second spin, but doesn't matter. Butter Sword spins and slashes doing the same damage means it's still just 3 hits to take him out, regardless of whether they're spins or slashes. Gets his map, of course. And yeah, so about 2.5 minutes behind here. And pretty much right on 2.5 minutes. Raikou, what we doing? Okay.
Raikou grabbed that first bomb chest here.
May have just been a habit thing. I know I confused someone I watched once when they're like, "What do I need for swamp?" I'm like, first chest, and then all the chests, and then all the keys under things. And then he thought, and then he was thinking that by first chest I meant the bomb wall. I'm like, no, no, no. The first chest, the one that you get by habit that has a small key in it.
Yeah, the one that you forget is actually even a thing at the game.
Yeah. Until you play Key Sanity, then you're like, oh yeah, that dumb chest.
That's why I don't play Key Sanity.
But yeah, going straight back. Shouldn't see him go down. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think it was just sort of a mental short mental lapse there. Yeah, as we mentioned, you're not going to get anything of use, so there's not even a... You'll see lots of runners open that waterfall chest, but we have nothing that we need, so there's not even a use of taking the 3 seconds to open that waterfall chest. Save every moment you can and just get through it as fast as you can.
I think Raikou's just made a lot of small gambles that have really just paid off for him. Stuff like not checking the shovel, not checking the ether tablet.
However much they were gambles then versus just not doing things, but they add up. Not doing the Ice Palace right side as we mentioned before, although by the time he got around to deciding if that was a thing, as mentioned before, it's only a one item. It was only one item worth of locations, so it was just that much less valuable to make a play on it. And so RaikouRider exiting the dungeon pretty much right at 146. So once again, keep an eye and see exactly how close our runners are once we get through here. We'll see if there's any time difference. But it's going to be, well, actually, before we even get to that, of course, it's everyone's favorite time. We are on our way to Ganon's Tower. The big key is going to be in one of 22 locations. We are going to judge this based on RaikouRider's ordering of the chests, assuming that nothing tragic happens on the way there. So get your guesses in for where you think that chest is, or where you think that big key is.
I'm gonna
said that. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say double fire bar room.
That's actually mine too. Now I call it by number 8, by sort of the classic rando routing of first 2 on the right and then straight left. But I also like the 8 for the right side play, which is the first chest in the Stalfos room. So I like 8. 8's a good number. Dark having a little bit of problem hooking some of those guys in.
Now we're going to check out chests 1 and 2 down here. Let's see what chest 1 has. Single arrow. Chest 2 has a small key.
So we're setting up for a possible divergence in routing here, because that key allows you to do that right side play. So if DarkReplica decides to do that right side play and the big key is on the right side, that is going to immediately change around the lead.
Chest 3 has 20 rupees.
No one's getting 20 rupees at this point from chest 3 though.
Here in the Stalfos room, we'll see chest 4 through 7. Chest 4, 300 rupees. Chest 5, another small key. Chest 6, 20 rupees. Chest 7, another small key.
That's a lot of small keys.
Getting them all the way early.
I think we're actually at that point where I think there's one more small key in a chest. Maybe.
20 rupees, chest 8, double fire bar room. So my guess, a fire snake room is still available.
Yep. Oh, you meant the fire snake room? Okay. Trying to get the bonk back there to sort of skip the fire snake. Just missed it by a little bit there, but got through. Hey, there's that riot shield.
Chest 9 mirror shield means my guess of rando room still available.
And this right side gamble is going to be pretty big here if it happens. Potentially.
It's just 10, red rupee, chest 11, red rupee, bombs, compass.
All right. So yeah, right side gamble is 4 items versus 4 items now. And we are seeing the right side play. So we have 4 items versus 4 items, as well as, of course, tile room still in the mix.
So this will be 14 for Raikou, I think.
Yep.
Then 15, 16, 17 will be the back of Ice Armos.
Yep. We shall see how important this right side play is very shortly.
Oh my gosh!
There it is! The lead has changed. We do need a small key though, so we're going to keep going until we get a small key. Which means, of course, given that there's the last small key in Ganon's tower. So there would not have been a small key up the tower, guaranteed.
Oh, if DarkReplica has a good Ganon's tower, this is their game to lose at this point.
Yep. Now ahead by something in a range of a minute, I would imagine. 152 flat up the staircase. Raikou trying to serve some magic there. Fortunately, just missing a shot instead, but whatever it takes. Of course, 2 slashes on a Gibdo with the gold sword will take them out, so just gonna take a few moments to just get rid of them and not have to worry about them. Not too bad of a decision. So yeah, so we're looking at about a minute 15 difference here by the looks of it. As soon as he gets that big key, off he goes, because he's got 2 small keys already. Top of that, he just got a health refill from that piece of heart, which is always nice to have going into the main part of Ganon's tower. And that riot shield is gonna YOLO these a little bit harder than normal. Heck, doesn't even matter that he had the mirror shield. That didn't matter. That was quite the mimics, actually.
Yeah, Dark's doing all right here. Raikou is coming up behind though.
Yeah, we'll see how well he can run his gauntlet rooms. We are gonna see we'll see how this Landmo fight goes. I like it. I like it, Dark. So we'll see if we can get the insta-kill here. Ooh, not quite. So if you get it just right there, once you do that with the fairy, you can actually get enough bouncing around to get 2 hits on each of the Landmolas with just the butter sword spin, and just immediately kill them all.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things in the game you can look at.
Yeah. Raikou cutting himself a little tight on the magic here with his use of the magic there. Of course, Stalfos Knights being a pain to fight, but you definitely want to be conserving some of that magic so that you can use it in these lamp rooms that we're about to see on DarkReplica's side. Fortunately, not having the fire rod shot to kill that Stalfos Knight mattered literally not at all.
Raikou's bringing out the silvers for this.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of choice with the no magic. Well, he has enough magic to powder that bunny meme if he really wanted to, I believe.
But kills those Lambos real fast, and then when you're hearing the torch rings.
It's going to be real tight on the magic for the lamp. Actually, might actually even need a refill. I'm not sure. He might. I believe he very well may need to use one of his blue potions before he can. Oh no, he'll have enough. He only needs to light 3 torches. Then he gets a small magic pot. Oh, he got beat up though. I think we're okay though.
Now, Motorworm 3 here on DarkReplica side. We are just going to do some dash strats through this.
Oh, we got a poke. Not really going to be an issue, though. Poke still being tempered sword damage 3 pokes, although a fall does matter. Fall gives about 20-30 seconds back to RaikouRider here. Especially as he doesn't have to kill one of the mini Helmosaurs. He can just proceed through this room without even worrying about it.
Alright, there's the kill on Motorworm 2 from Dark.
Oh, missed the bomb throw. That should be okay, probably. No, it was too high. That's also too high, Raikou. A little bit. There you go.
So it's real frustrating when you throw it and you expect the conveyor belt to take it and it just lands on the edge.
Trying to get this one fairy. Go hit the switch. There we go.
Aga 2 for DarkReplica. Getting a triple right off the bat.
Oh. Just a single there, though. And 0 there. And then, of course, anytime that the Aga Prime ends up in the corner is a bit of a pain, but still gets a nice double off it.
3-1-0-2, while Raikou is right behind. I mean, Butter Sword with silvers. This should be an easy Ganon fight, but man, you hold that wrong direction, you fall off. This is
and this could come to even a cycle difference potentially. I believe that was also a triple. 1. It's just a 1 there.
Mirror Shield can reflect blue balls?
Oh, just missed the double there. So we're going to get the same cycles here overall, most likely. Yep, there we go.
Replica is on to Ganon in phase 2 already.
Yep, got the nice 1 cycle for phase 1. No problems here. So yeah, so it will come down to if Dark has a fall to most likely at this point. Although it could also come down to Silver Arrow execution. I think Dark has enough of a lead that if he just lands 1 arrow in each shot, though, I think he's got enough of a lead that will still keep him in the lead.
As long as he doesn't try to do anything fancy.
Yeah, got a double there, so. That'll be a single, but that's fine. Just pull up the fire rod again and light the torches and get it done. And there it is. So,
assuming Dark doesn't fall off here.
Yeah. Go here. Dark will walk through the door with an SRTV official time of 1:59:38.
Very good job, Dark. Very good job. That is not taking things away from Raiko. This is a very, very close race.
Very close, as I said. Dev could come down to the right-left gamble, and it did. Sometimes that's all it takes. Of course, RaikouRider, as long as he doesn't fall off the edge, finishing here momentarily with an official SRTV time of 2 hours, 23 minutes. GG's to both racers there. What a race.
Less than a minute between each of them, 1:59:38 and 2 hours and 23 seconds. That is how close these can be. And that's not even the closest race of the tournament.
No, we've had a tie or two.
I think I commentated on one of the rematches from those. So a tie happens when racers finish within 3 seconds of each other.
Yeah, and I think that's basically just their way of preventing having to do like frame counting to determine a winner type of thing.
Yeah, things with like clicking done on Speed Racing TV or something like that. Their second race, I commentated on that. I think finished within 45 seconds of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, GAN tower routing can definitely change a race. We saw it in full force right there.
We're going to see if we want to get Raiko and DarkReplica in here. We can probably pull Raiko in right now.
I'd say so.
Raiko, how's it going?
SGQF.
Well,
honestly, I played really badly in the seed. But this seed, you're gonna get. There's 2 people. If this is a weekly, you're gonna get 2 groups of people. One that finishes around the 2-hour mark, and one that finishes around the 120 mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it was close throughout the entire game. We're gonna pull Replica in here as well. GG DarkReplica.
Oh, GG.
Yeah, but no, as you were saying, so finding that fire rod, if people that find the fire rod and go, I'm doing Skull Woods, then yeah, they're suddenly a mile ahead of all the other people.
Thankfully, both of you pretty much went there right after pod and ended up getting a hook shot. You all were just looking for mirror at that point, and you both found it in Turtle Rock, probably within maybe 2 minutes of each other. It is a very close race throughout this entire 2 hours.
Yeah, Raiko was about 2.5 minutes ahead on the Trinex kill.
I deserve that loss.
Oh, I felt behind all the time.
Same. I deserve that. Not because of item routing, but because I made so many mistakes. I can't even count how many mistakes I made.
Yeah, it was a little silly. Like you both had all sorts of things that happened. Dark had this thing where I think it was Dark tried to death warp out of Thieves Town.
Yeah, that was me.
Then had a ferry. Then decided I'm gonna stay in Thieves Town. Broke the skylight open on blind, but then died in that room anyways. And it's just like, no, I'm done again.
Raiko, you had Ice Palace leaving items in there, and we were both like, oh god, is he going to go back to Ice Palace?
I didn't have a choice. It was... Okay, so my rationale behind doing Ice Palace so early is it was 5/6, and if Cold Stare did not have an item, I was going to go back in and dig out the 2 items. If Cold Stare had an item, I was going to leave the item behind.
Yeah, and so the only reason that it really came up was because we got to that point where there was 3 1-item. Did Skullwoods have an item in the back?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a 2-item check in Skullwoods if we include the green pendant. We had for DarkReplica, he had a 2-item check in Thieves Town, I think. yeah, 2-item check in Thieves Town. Of course, Raikou only had a 1-item check because he only had the big chest left. And then we had your random places that you had left. So Dark had to go back to Halmasora. You had an item in Ice Palace, so on and so forth.
I also had Ether Tablet, which I was an absolute moron and did not do with Hera.
Yeah, Virtue tried to give you the benefit of the doubt and called it a gamble. I'm like, we'll see. We'll see if that was a gamble or not.
No, it was just me being a moron. Like I said, this is probably the worst I've played in any match in any LTTPR tournament I've ever played in.
Although I've been there, done that after I skipped Titan's Mitts in Skullwood's Big Chest one seed. That was fun.
I was basically, as soon as I found Hookshot at Sasrala, I was just on tilt the entire time. There was no excuse for any of that. Did any of you notice that? How much worse I started playing after I found Hookshot?
I'm not sure I specifically did know, but
because I started playing extremely poorly as soon as I found Hookshot.
It was interesting. And because we knew all those locations that you guys didn't specifically know. We're like, well, we know that the mirror has to be on Death Mountain or has to be in the shovel spot. Like, that's it.
Oh, and this is also the third tournament race this tournament that I have lost because of left side, right side Ganon.
Fantastic. That's not what you want to hear, but unfortunately, that's what happened. Was it a change of them, or was it always just they did right side gamble and you did left?
The first two races I lost because I did right side first, and then this race I lost because I didn't do right side first.
Of course. Why wouldn't it happen like that?
That's terrible.
Because the reason why I did left side first, I'm sure everybody in my Discord is asking me why I did left side first this time. The reason why is because when I found out where the hook shot was, there were two scenarios. If you do like if you get hook shot early, like go to Skull Woods as soon as you get Fire Rod, then you would have already been finished by now. So
yeah, I had exactly the same. I was even thinking about doing Tar Room just because I felt so far behind. But I decided not to because you never do Tar Room. I think the whole seed I was hoping that Turtle Rock would require Bombos, because after the mess up in Thieves Town and finding nothing of significance in Meyer, I felt really far behind.
I was actually hoping that it was Quake at Turtle Rock, because then it would mean that we would need to check more locations and it would even things out, because I did not feel comfortable after because this seed, it wasn't just the Fire Rod, but it boiled down to, were you comfortable doing a stupidly under-equipped Skullwoods? And I was not.
Yeah,
especially for a pendant.
I think that like the hook shot was literally the last item location I had left.
I had a few left because I had the big chest in Thieves Town. I had one item in Ice Palace, which I was not going back for. Pedestal hookshot was in my mind as well.
Yeah, and Dark had checked the. Whoever checked pedestal, was it Dark?
I didn't.
I checked it.
Oh, you did check it. Okay.
I checked it with routing. I checked it with, I believe, the Bonk Rock and King's Tomb check.
Yeah. Your scenic Bonk Rocks check.
I just in general, it wasn't the routing. The routing I felt was fine. Just the execution was the worst I have ever done. Ever.
Yeah. No, I've been there, especially in this tournament. I've had a couple of I know exactly what you're talking about. You have these deaths on places where you've never had deaths before, or things like that. Just little things that took way longer than they need to take.
No, it wasn't deaths. It was routing.
Oh, no.
Excuse. You want to know what You want to know what ended up making the difference in that race, even beyond just like left side, right side Ganon. When I ran right past the big key in Turtle Rock.
Right. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I'm like, I don't know if he got the big key already, and then we got to the big chest, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I was basically what made me think I had the big key was I found the mirror, and I'm like, I can just run through all these chests, and of course not, because little stupid old me never pays attention to what is in his inventory when he is on tilt.
And yeah, and the other little thing you could have done was instead of going backwards, you could have just gone forwards, grabbed the big key and the mirror back to the big chest.
I always forget that stupid blinking door exists.
So,
because you never use that door, like, ever.
Yeah. And you've just got the mirror, so it's like you're not even thinking in. It's sort of like when you get boots super late in the scene, then you realize you're walking everywhere because you forgot that you had boots.
It was the same thing with the mirror as well.
That's what I was equating it to. It's the same thing.
What made the seed so miserable was just the combination of hookshot and mirror being so late.
Yeah, it blocked out Death Mountain. It's like you can't go to Death Mountain. I was disappointed that Death Mountain didn't have any progression on it for the fact that it locked like the two easy locations. Neither Old Man or Spectacle Rock had anything in it. I'm like, come on, game. That's exactly where you put those things there.
That's what I was getting worried about as well, because that part of Death Mountain, if you don't have access to the east side, that's such low value.
Yeah, except for doing the Old Man so that you have the flute save and quit spot is always nice, but aside from that,
I guess you could write it in together with Spike Cave at some point. It saved a little bit of awkwardness, but
I did Spike Cave with those checks as well. That's actually one of the reasons why I was delaying Death Mountain, is so I could try to route all of that in at once. But of course, this is one of those seeds that just doesn't route.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
That was my only problem. Like, normally I feel the seed is pushing me somewhere, and now I didn't know what to do. So normally my mind is ahead of what I'm doing, and now I was doing things before I decided what I actually wanted to do.
I felt the same way. Like, the seed was pretty open pretty early, which is actually something that I like to see, but just the hook shot was in a very mean spot.
I hope
and the mirror was locked behind it was the other problem. Because if you'd had either one, it would not have been an issue. Yeah. Granted, the mirror would have led you on a different wild goose chase of mirror location, but at least it would have felt a little bit better. I don't even mind that, because at least mirror lets you route better. That's what I'm saying. It's like it would have been a little bit wild goose chasey, but it would have felt better. All right. Well, I have a vehicle I need to go pick up, and then I need to calm down because I've got another race in about 2.5 hours. Yep, gotta make sure you do what you do. But yeah, overall, I'm extremely disappointed with my performance in this tournament. There were 3 of these 4 matches that I should have won. Yeah. Well, at least it made for good watching. GG's to of course both Raikou and DarkReplica. That was a fantastic race.
Good win, DarkReplica.
Thank you. I'm glad you all enjoyed.
We of course have the links in chat for our racers. So if you do want to follow them, the links are there. They did put on a fantastic race. Of course, there's also if you are interested in the tournament, do consider giving all the ALTTP randomizer channels a follow. There are 4 of those. Also, we're being hosted a lot on the Speed Gaming channel, Speed Gaming through Speed Gaming 6. So if you want to keep up to date on this tournament, as well as, of course, a number of other speedrunning tournaments that are going on, consider giving those Speed Gaming channels a follow as well. Also, just let's take a quick look at the schedule, see what's going on today. Right now at 3 o'clock, I guess, by the sounds of it, I think we are having some technical issues getting these races up and going, but we do have Shaw versus Willard J. Bradley on Speed Gaming 3, and Pink Kitty Rose versus Chauncey J on Speed Gaming 4, once those races get up and going. I'm not sure exactly how soon that's going to occur. And then at 4 o'clock, we have Justin Zed versus wrong thing. Rubel versus Yagamoth on Speed Gaming flagship channel. As well as, of course, many other races throughout the night here going on. With that, I do want to thank, I also want to thank, of course, our tracker, CyberChow X, and our restreamer, Data World. Without them, we couldn't have done this anywhere close to as well. Thank you to them for allowing us to do this. And, of course, thank you, Virtua Cat, for commentating with me today.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks to both of you.
You all have a great night. Thanks for having us.